Well, hey, good morning to you. I'm out for a jog in Coimbra, Portugal. This was a gift from my wife for my birthday, and it's a city I love. I'm actually at the very top. I'm up at the University of Coimbra, the oldest university in Portugal, and I believe one of the oldest in all of the world. But anyhow, I'm at the top of this hill. I jogged all the way up, and I started down by the river, and that's why I kind of stopped here to film. Man, I'm feeling great lately, but I wanted to take a moment because we're in Portugal, and I started to kind of feel a little bit sick. Not like a virus in my throat, something else, more like an infection. Don't want to get too into it, a little too TMI, so to say. But luckily, the antibiotics that I need, I have on me. I don't need to go to a doctor. I don't even need to find a doctor. I started the medication 2 days ago, and I'm already feeling better. And the reason I even have those antibiotics on hand is something that I really want to take a moment and kind of plead with everybody. Have emergency antibiotics on hand. Always have them on hand. And I'm surrounded, I'm at a university, actually University of Medicine is somewhere around here, pretty close. But I don't need it. Like, I have everything I need on hand. I don't need to go to those doctors. And I got them from Jase, and I just want to take a moment and talk about them, because as we enter into the fall season, and especially as we enter into election season, what we're seeing is a giant uptick in COVID. We're seeing a giant uptick in just news reports on things like the bird flu, Eastern equine encephalitis, which inflames your brain, and it's all a fear tactic. But there is reality to sickness, so I recommend, Jase is the only company that I'm aware of in the entire world where you can get ivermectin for COVID, which most doctors won't even prescribe ivermectin. So you can get ivermectin. You could get all sorts of antivirals for the bird flu, for EEE. You can get emergency antibiotics. And the thing about their emergency antibiotics is they study out what the biggest threats, from snake bites to lung infections, just everything in between. And then they give the most, I believe it's 5 different antibiotics. At least the case I have has 5. But all of this, you can have not, like I have a doctor that prescribed most of it, but only when I need it. Jase prescribes it before you need it in case of an emergency. So I just want to take a moment and recommend them, because it's kind of really helped me a lot. Like, I don't even know if I could have been jogging up this hill with the kind of pain I was starting to become in, and I've had this infection before. It gets real bad real quick. It definitely would have required medical attention here in Portugal, which I don't want to discover what that might look like. So Jase is the only company where what you'll do is you'll speak to a doctor in America, and then they will make a prescription for you. You'll do all this through the internet, but then they'll make a prescription for you, specifically for your age, sex, weight, all that stuff. And then you get it shipped to you immediately from a U.S. pharmacy, and then you have it on hand. It also comes in storage cases to kind of keep it at the right temperature, keep light off of it, that sort of thing, so it'll last a long time. Antibiotics obviously have an expiration date, but the U.S. Army has done a test, and they say as long as you keep them around 70 degrees in the dark, they'll last up to 99 years, is the number they give, the U.S. Army at least. So I just want to take a moment, just kind of talk through that, because I believe, we've seen, and I think many of us, not all of us, but many of us know what is possible during an election year, as far as just different sicknesses coming about, or just different events that affect Americans coming about. There's already cities in America doing curfews because they want to keep people away from the mosquitoes at night. I mean, I just think it's important to have this stuff on hand. That way you could just live your life, not worry about it. Something happened, you're prepared. And I think it's critical to have this conversation. I strongly believe that every single American should have emergency antibiotics on hand, should have emergency antivirals on hand, should have emergency ivermectin on hand. And the other thing that Jase does is the chronic meds. Right now I'm on 9 different medications for my heart, which again, hey, I just ran up that hill, by the way. That's pretty good. I did get passed by another runner, but I still made it all the way. I wasn't necessarily flying or anything, but nonetheless, I need to stay on my meds. Eventually I'm going to try to get off them, but I'm going to wait for a few more doctor checkups to get off of those. But in the meantime, if there was some sort of like a supply chain shutdown or, I don't know, weather event, war, whatever takes place in the world, you can get up to a year's supply of your chronic meds. Those meds that you just need in case so I would need 9 of them, 9 different ones. But if something happened, I just keep on going. I'm not worried about it. And even recently, we've seen twice where there's been computer hacks where that has shut down. Like one was for the insurance companies where they couldn't. I mean, you could go to the pharmacy and get your meds, but the insurance wouldn't pay for them. And for many people, that's a difference. Like my son used to be on a med that was $40,000 a month without insurance, but it was $40 a month with. So obviously that wouldn't have worked for me or him. And now he's not on it anymore, but it was about 3 years he was on that. But for many people, that means they can't buy it. And then there was also the hack with the hospitals, and they got that figured out pretty quick, but it still caused a glitch in the supply chain of pharmaceuticals. So I just want to take this moment and say, have Jase, just check them out, links below. They usually have some discounts, that sort of thing, especially going into the fall and winter. Have emergency antibiotics, have ivermectin, have antivirals, have your chronic meds. It's, I think, the most important prep you can make, because you can have a giant fortress in the wilderness and have 100 years worth of food, but if you don't have emergency antibiotics on hand and you cut yourself on the wrong thing, that's the end of it. That's the end of it. And somebody else is going to come take all your preps. So I think it's the most important prep next to food and water and shelter. So there you go, man. Jase link is below. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm going to walk down this hill because going down steep hills running is bad on my knees. I don't think there's a medication for that one, so I'm going to walk down it. But I did. It's a beautiful view up here. There's actually, what's behind me are these bars. There's a University Gardens. It's so incredibly beautiful in there, and but it's closed. So I was hoping to walk down through there, but at least I got this view. So you guys, thanks for joining me. I should be back in town, I think, in another week. And then also we have a lot of the other video content still coming out. I've got Revelation every single morning coming out as best I can. I filmed a bunch of them before I left of all these. And Hunting and Fishing through Matthew coming out every Sunday and Monday. Enoch every Friday and Saturday. And Acts every Wednesday, Thursday. So just keep joining me. I'm going to enjoy my vacation, this relaxation with the wife, and this beautiful place. If you've never been to Portugal, highly recommend it. I grew up, just on a side note, I was either a kid or I had kids my whole life. And I also grew up in poverty, so we didn't do any traveling when I was a kid. And then when I had kids, I was waiting tables and going to college. So I didn't do any traveling then either. If I did, it was like Branson or yeah, it's probably about it, Branson or the Ozarks or something like that. But this is my second time out of the country, and this one we came here last time. Just love this place, and my wife and I both wanted to come back, so I got this as a birthday surprise, and we're just loving this beautiful city. If you've never been to Coimbra, beautiful university city, and city of love. Google that one, man. Beautiful stories there. So anyhow, thanks for joining me. Any thoughts or insight on any of this stuff, definitely put it below. Again, highly recommend, just check out Jase. That link is below. I think it's definitely in the top 5 most important preps you can make. If you're sick, it's the number 1 most important prep you can make, because then food and water doesn't matter at that point. So that link is below. And again, any insight, definitely put that below as well. The most important part of the channel, we take prayer requests. Never, ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.